A lot of women are confused as to why men continue to stay single. We got a line up here that's going to let them know what the issue is.
Do you know what the funniest thing about so many men is nowadays? So many men are no longer scared of being single. They're now scared of being in a soul-sucking, detrimental relationship that's only going to waste their time, waste their energy, waste their effort, and waste their money. They would rather be single than be in a bad relationship. So it's not that men are complaining because they're single. Men are complaining because they've just seen everything as such a waste of time for them lately.
A lot of men today say they are done with dating. They are staying single. They're out of the game. Kaputski, because they don't trust women. They don't trust women because women of today are fake. They have fake eyelashes, fake nails, fake hair, fake bodies, even fake personalities. They feel like women don't really love men, generally speaking. They see men as a means to an end. Just deal with men to gain something. And I guess it's similar when women say that they're done with dating because they don't like the nature of men, that they cheat, use women for their bodies, want women to stay in their place. Now men are saying they want to stay single because they don't like the nature of women, that they use men for their money, use their bodies in a different way, as work mules, change my tires, go paint here, move this here, lift this for me. So what are men asking for? They're asking for a little appreciation. They're asking to be loved for who they are, not what they can provide. They want to be seen. Now, is this unrealistic? Getting married, if they have resources and the woman decides she doesn't want to be married to him anymore, she could take half, even if she hasn't contributed to any of it. They don't feel it's worth the risk. Ladies, if you were a man today, would you date women today? Is it worth it? Do men have a point? Are they asking for a lot? To be loved, appreciated, not used, to be seen? What do you guys think?
No, males are not choosing, but
Oh, yes, they are.
I do find it hilarious how they are all like, yeah, we're done with women. That's why we're all single, because we chose to be done with women.
If someone tells you something often enough, maybe you should start believing them because, a lot of men are just completely done with dating.
You guys didn't choose that. You know you didn't choose that.
Oh, but they did. What exactly is so hard to believe about that?
You know that right now women are becoming really picky and not choosing men that all they do is bring a paycheck.
Like I said before, there's a lot of women that are very upset that a lot of guys are actually choosing to be single because they want all of the power for themselves and to be able to dictate who they date. It is incomprehensible to some that guys actually can choose who to date.
Although there are still women out there who will accept that. And I suggest you go find them and leave us alone.
Oh, I don't think that'll be a problem at all because it's almost like personality types similar to some that we've just seen are almost the very reasons why a lot of guys are choosing to remain single.
I know a lot of my homies feel this one right here. Like there's something so, I guess, freeing about not having to worry about somebody else like coming to fuck up your day for no reason. It truly is hard to find somebody that's, like I said, not just gonna go out of the way to fuck up your day for no reason. Like it's hard to actually find that in a relationship. Then once you do find that relationship and you get married, marriage is a whole nother ball game because like you're technically stuck with that person. So like if you made the wrong decision, you're gonna have to deal with that person for like a very long time if it doesn't work out. Boy, especially if you got kids, holy bro. I've seen so many homies go through hard times just because being married, having kids, getting divorced, it's a lot. I don't blame anybody for wanting to stay single, but at the same time, don't give up hope. There's always somebody out there for you. You know what I'm saying? Peace out.
Okay, so this is probably unpopular opinion. Not probably. I'm sure it's unpopular opinion, and I might get some flack for this, but I see all these guys posting how they're in their early 30s, mid-30s, and they have no kids, they have a good job, and they're treating that as a flex to like on other people. Like, look at me, I'm a good candidate to be husband material or whatever. In my opinion, if you are single in your mid-30s and you don't have any kids and like whatever, that just tells me that you have commitment issues. That tells me that you chose to party for most of your adult life, that you most likely sleep around a lot. And you can just kind of tell by the guys that are posting this, right? They're trying to do it as a flex. So look at all these girls, they've all been ran through, they have kids, they, you know, blah, blah, like whatever. To me, that shows that a girl can commit, or a person or whoever, and that they chose not to party, that they chose to settle down because they wanted to have a family, and it doesn't always work out, which is why a lot of us, myself, are in our 30s and now we're single and we have kids. It's because we chose not to sleep around. We chose not to go out and party and do all those things, and we wanted to have a family. Things happen, but I don't think it's as big of a flex as guys think it is, that they are in their 30s and single with no kids, because that just shows me that you can't commit if you haven't had a long-term relationship. And if you're out there going to the club and partying and sleeping around with women, that's not a flex. Ew, I'm too good for them. Like, no, it's the same. We have the same perspective on each other, because I think, ew, you don't know how to be in a relationship. You don't know how to commit. You've probably gone around your whole adult life partying and sleeping around. That's not cute either. And I understand that this is not the case for everybody, but you can tell the type of person that I'm talking about. I want to add that most of the time these are good-looking men. And from my perspective, that just means that you liked the attention more than settling down with one person. You would have rather had the attention of multiple girls. Your attention, it's Peter Pan syndrome. You know that you're good looking and girls give you attention. You would have rather had the attention of multiple people. You couldn't give that up because it made you feel better about yourself. And don't tell me, oh, I haven't found the right person. Yeah, because you're probably out partying. You're probably going out to the club and you're not finding relationship material at a club. Like I said, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but that's just my take.
Well, then you're talking about a specific type of man in his 30s. You're not talking about the average man in his 30s. The average man in his 30s is not doing that. He's not doing that, right? And kudos to you for getting married early and it not working out. I'm sorry that happened, right? We can dive into that another day. But the fact of the matter is, it is a flex. Well, you have commitment issues. Or, hear me out here, I might have just been able to figure out how to discipline myself just enough to not have what I don't want. Sure, I might have been in some situations, but I might have disciplined myself just enough to not get into or get stung by the situation. Maybe. So yes, that is a flex. That is a flex. That means that I'm not reckless. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
I was at the beach today alone, and the spot where I wanted was like right by a rock because I wanted to lean up against it and read. There's this guy like directly in front of me, like maybe 10 feet away. Super cute, like really cute guy. And he noticed me, I noticed him, we smiled at each other, whatever. And I was at the beach for a good like 3 hours, maybe 4, just reading. I had like one headphone in, wasn't like, I like the door was open, and a part of me wanted to go up to him and like be like, hey, how's it going? But honestly, another part of me was just like, what the hell am I doing thinking of going up to guys? I don't want a guy who's too shy to come up to me. I don't want a guy that I have to make the first move with. Yes, he was very cute. He was alone. He looked single. But why the hell would I put myself out there and be like, hey, how's it going? And I honestly think it's like a super huge issue with guys nowadays where it's like, just make the move. I've made the moves before to guys. I've given guys my number, like, and gone up to them first. But at this point, I'm kind of over that. I'm like, I'm not, no, like you can come up to me. Maybe that's a hot take, but honestly, like, really, like grow a pair. Grow a pair. You were smiling at me. You were making little flirty faces. Like, just come up to me and ask for my number. It's really, really not that hard.
Can we normalize girls going up to guys they think are attractive and not playing stupid games? Because we have been trained it's creepy to approach women.
You cannot tell me that we as women are supposed to live with men for the rest of our lives. Like, you cannot convince me of that. Because the way I feel and the happiness and joy I feel living alone is unmatched. Like, obviously I've lived with roommates before. I've lived with female roommates, and that's fine. I could probably do that. But I could never live with a man again. Like, I couldn't. I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, they just always eventually drive me insane. I always feel like they're invading my personal space. They're always, even if a man is like pretty clean, I just always feel like they're ruining the aesthetic of the space, like no matter what. Unless they're out of the house like 99% of the time and they really don't contribute to the overall decor and they're not in the house very much, I could never live with a man again. It's either I'm gonna live with a female roommate or friends, girlfriends.
Modern women can sit up here and talk all they want about what they want a man to do. I want a man to approach. Why doesn't Billy come approach me? Why doesn't Kyle come approach me? Why doesn't Jamal come and approach me? Why isn't Hector coming to approach me? It don't matter. It don't matter. Y'all are too much of a headache. You're too much of a headache. If you're going to continue to talk trash and say, well, I don't want no man approaching me, then men don't approach. Simple as that. Y'all play too many games. And you're mad when you find yourself single. You're mad when men just walk off and ignore you and they decide to stay single.
Okay, I have a theory on why all the hottest girls are single and nobody's married yet. I figured it out. It's because before, hot women were a rare commodity. Now, everyone is just way too hot. It's easy for girls to get hot, right? And now it's like when you see a desirable, high-value man, they have way too many options. And girls don't have options anymore. And it's so frustrating because it's like people would kind of date in their lane, if you know what I mean. Before there was like fillers and Botox and hair and cute outfits and spray tans and all that stuff. People would date in their lane. Now everyone's hot and no men can't do any type of like plastic surgery or height surgery or whatever. And with women working and men working equal pay, that's also a rare thing. So, ladies, we need to figure out a way to make men suck again. Sorry, they do suck. That's my point. They do suck. We just need to even out the ratio here. We're too hot. Men need to catch up to us. You know what I mean?
I feel that guy is so nice. Who cares? So many guys are nice. Oh my god, but do they have money? No.
You know, I see why men are staying single because look around. We have women out here bragging about not cooking, not cleaning, not taking care of their home, not being soft, and not being supportive. And then expecting a man to show up as a provider, leader, planner, protector, and lover, while giving him absolutely nothing in return. And yes, I will be the one to say it. A home needs a woman who actually enjoys being a woman. A woman who takes pride in making her home feel warm and peaceful. A woman who loves her man in the same way that she wants to be loved. That is not oppression, that is care. Men are tired of being treated like a walking wallet. Tired of disrespect. Tired of begging for affection and a little peace. So, they are choosing to stay single, not because they hate women, but because they are looking for a woman that values her role just as much as his. And honestly, I don't blame them, because relationships only work when both people show up and give.
This is a really powerful paradigm shift that I would suggest all involuntarily celibate men think about. It might feel like a bummer to not have sex or romance in your life right now, but there's also a decent amount of benefits to waiting to be sexually active, to not participating in hookup culture. I guess what I'm trying to say is the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Number one, if you're a virgin, you pretty much know your STD status. Every single one of my friends that really participated in hookup culture, male or female, has gotten an STD at some point. Something crazy like 80% of people have HPV. That's genital warts, and it can cause serious complications for women that don't have the Gardasil vaccine. And if you're like, well, I wouldn't be doing hookup culture, I really want a girlfriend. Most people who date younger and earlier get a lot of baggage from that. I know you might feel like you're the one with baggage for not having had a partner, but trust me when I say the divorced guy at 30 or 40 has more baggage than you. You might feel like women might judge that you haven't had sex before or that you're not experienced enough, but most women don't really care about that. In fact, most women prefer men with lower body counts just like men prefer women with lower body counts. And plenty of women are purposefully waiting and might like that you maybe not purposefully waited for her as well. You also might feel some fear that you won't be good in bed, but let me tell you right now, having experience does not automatically make you good in bed. There are plenty of men that think they're good in bed that are not good in bed. If you're humble and a good listener, you'll probably be better than most dudes. And while it sucks to feel unattractive, it can do wonders for your personal development to focus on yourself instead of being in relationships. The best thing that ever happened to me is that I was very ugly in high school. I know you might see me as gorgeous now, but I was hideous growing up. I didn't have like any of my teeth. Puberty hit me late and like a truck. I was flat as a board until I was like 17. I know you might be like, 17? That's not that late, but it's pretty late for women. Like all my friends got their periods when they were like 12. I didn't get mine until I was like 16. I was skinny, short, awkward. People always thought I was like 3 years younger than I was. Guys were always interested in my friends and never interested in me. While it sucked at the time, that was when I got cool. All the cool skills I learned, all the fun, interesting things I did, like that's because I wasn't focused on boys and relationships like a lot of my friends were. Like when you're perpetually single, you have so much time. Like you have so much time right now to like be the most you can be. Learn all the cool things you want to learn. No one is relying on you. You're so free to travel to interesting places, learn and succeed in schooling and in your career. Relationships can be awesome, but they also eat up a lot of time, money, and freedom. If you shift the way you think and really work on yourself, you're someday going to look back on this time and really appreciate it.
And I want the focus here to be, I took whatever life gave me, I adapted to it, and I made the most of it. I took whatever life gave me. I wouldn't get no matches. I wouldn't get nobody to pay attention to me. But I took that and I said, all right, I'm going to make you pay attention to me. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to do so much. And guess what? What space teaches that? Yeah, you got a lot of people in here that say a lot of stupid stuff, right? They do a lot of dumb stuff. But like one lady was talking about, the space is saying, hey, you need to level up. You need to get better. You need to get in that gym, get a workout routine. Hey, start eating a little bit better. You might not lose all of that you got on there. But when you go to the doctor, he say, hey, man, your numbers are down. Your numbers down. You're doing a little bit better. What are you doing? Oh, man, well, I'm working out 2 or 3 times a week for about 30 minutes. Oh, okay, well, keep on doing that. About building a more positive, more healthy lifestyle. Didn't nobody pay attention to me, so I just started working on myself, and now people are giving me a little bit more looks. Look at that, right? Man, imagine that.
Now, I don't know if I'm just speaking from experience, dog, but fellas, stay single, man. Once you realize that the relationship will always be about the woman and her emotions and how she feels within the relationship, you'll realize it's a waste of motherfucking time. Because the whole time you supposed to put her on a pedestal, but you will never get that reciprocation, gang. That's why they always say love for men is conditional, gang. You only love by what you can provide. The second you stop showing up, my nigga, so does the love.
Reasons why men are single, still single, after the age of 30. Listen the up. If he is still single after 30, there is a freaking reason. Probably not because he's just picky. For one, he wants a girlfriend. He does. He wants a girlfriend, but he does not want to put in any of the effort to do so. Or God forbid he needs to delete the roster. Number 2, which is a giant piss off, he thinks therapy is for the weak, but his communication is absolute. Like, sir, if anyone needs therapy, it's you. Number 3, he's chasing 22-year-olds or 20-year-olds or 21-year-olds. Baby girl, he is the problem. But not least, he almost dated someone amazing. Now, he either fit up, her over, or just wasn't ready at the time. Then now he's freaking scared to try with any other amazing girl. Ladies, please send this to a man if he needs to see it. And fellas, if this hurt your feelings, it was probably meant for you.
Coping mechanism. Modern women, they just have so many coping mechanisms. It's just astounding at this point.
Bro, one thing I always notice is that married men always tell men that's not married to stay single. And you start to ask yourself, like, damn, like, why is that? Like, I hear it from so many men that's married or been in relationships for 10 plus years. They always tell men, don't get married. And, like, you could love your wife dearly, you know, love your kids dearly. Like, you wouldn't trade them for anything. But I tend to see that a lot. Like, especially online, I see different people or guys that's married, that's been in relationships, tell dudes to stay single. Also, I know people in my family personally that I've heard from as well. And I know everyone has a personal experience with it. But for the most part, like I said, I hear more people say that than not. And more, when I say that, I say more so from the men's perspective, not the women's perspective. I don't know how they feel about that or what they go through. But when I hear about marriage, and especially for men who's married, they always say stay single. And of course, you still want to try things yourself. You know, like, it's good to take advice from people and hear certain people and things like that as well. But yeah, like, you still do want to try things yourself. But I feel like certain things, bro, when majority of people are saying one thing, it got to be some truth to it.
This idea of the male loneliness epidemic, I think needs to be looked at. Some of these guys are lonely. That's true. But part of the reason is that they're looking at their options and they're like, I can't do it. Like, this is not appealing to me anymore. So they're feeling lonely. There is a segment of guys that are feeling lonely because they don't want you anymore. Like, they're not drawn to you anymore. So they would love to be with a woman who acts like a woman, who's feminine, who's respectful, who's loyal, who's, you know, not going to cheat, who's not going to, you know, their phone's not going to be, you know, shady as you know what, who's not going to be posting like all naked pictures online all the time looking for male attention while you got a boyfriend here that, you know, you got one foot out the door, who's not going to feel like, you know, you can't ask her what she, hey, like, you know, what do you want to bring to the relationship? How dare you? You know, they're looking for like a quality woman and they don't see it. So a lot of those men, it's not all guys who are just trying to seal the deal and can't make it happen. Is that some of it? Sure. But there's also guys who could seal the deal and don't want to. They're just like, well, I'm going to spend a boatload of money. I'm going to spend a boatload of time. And like, what's in it for me? Really, at the end of the day, am I getting any of my boxes checked in this? So they're choosing to just be lonely, and just because they're like, where are all the good women? Where have they gone?
You want to know why most good men remain single, myself included? It's because all of us have had times in our life where we're doing perfectly fine on our own. We're financially set. We're living life on our own. We don't need anybody. But they happen to come into our life, make us feel like maybe this is the one time that she's going to make me feel special. Say things like, you're a catch, you're my dream man, you're so this, you're so that, I can't believe I found you, I can't believe I'm so lucky to have you in my life. Only to do what? To push him out of your life and act like strangers. The same thing you were before you met. So why even bother me? Why even bother that man? Why? Good men, like myself, it's not that we can't get a woman, it's because every time we try, we're shown exactly why we're better off alone. And instead, these women want to go after the guy that doesn't want them. And then they complain about why they're hurting and why he hurts them. A guy either wants you or he doesn't. There's no middle ground. You're not going to change a man's mind. You're not going to. All you're doing is wasting your time. But if you want to do that, that's on you. In the meantime, if you have a good man in your life, don't let him go, or you might regret it for the rest of your life. Don't believe me? Fine. That's on you.
If a man is single for a long time, like 2 years, 3 years, or more, it doesn't mean he's broken. Most of the time, it's wisdom keeping him steady. He knows what's worth his time and what isn't. He's learned the hard way that love without respect is just exhaustion wrapped in affection.
Some men jump quickly into relationships, but the wise man waits until the right one arrives.
His dating pool is small because he tolerates the least amount of nonsense from anyone.
He won't settle for someone who can't bring peace or help him grow while keeping his heart intact. He notices red flags early and refuses to repeat the same mistakes with different people. Instead of chasing attention or validation, he'd rather stand alone than compromise his soul. He knows his worth and will never trade real peace for temporary company or hollow love.
You ever wonder why some of us good men decide to stay single? Here's the punchline. I don't want a relationship anymore. I'm perfectly fine coming home to myself every night. No more sleepless nights glued to the phone. No more stressing over someone who doesn't appreciate a damn thing. Here's the real kicker. Some of you ladies out there expect the world handed to you while the guy's out there busting his ass, getting his hands dirty. You're right. You're getting your nails done while he's collecting scars. But why? For someone who can't even recognize his worth. Nah, that joke's worn out. A good man is worth his weight in gold, but only if the person on the other side knows his value. If not, well, it's better to be alone than to be the fool breaking his back for nothing. The truth is, being single isn't a curse. Sometimes it's the best decision you'll ever make if you're tired of the nonsense and ready to laugh.
Brother, I'm gonna tell you straight like this. Young brothers too. You could listen to these that's telling you don't spend no kind of money on her, don't take her on no dates. You could listen to them type niggas and you gonna be miserable and lonely for your whole life. Cause let me tell you like this, them rappers, them red pill, all them that be preaching don't do nothing for a girl cause they all the same. All of them are in a non-happy relationship. Or they got a kid with a woman they hate. And they love life is complete. So why would you listen to them types of relationship advice? If you love your woman and you got the money, bro, treat her nice. You listening to rappers talking about these things, don't buy a bitch, blah, blah, blah. But them the same that's dropping 100,000 on their girls' purses. And I'm be real with you, bro. You could be that don't do for your lady because a nigga that do gonna come up and snatch her from your ass. Don't miss out on a good woman because you think you just so player, bro. Serious.
Well, once again, men don't mind spending money on women. They don't mind treating their lady right. I mean, I know some men, heck, I don't know if I would have a problem going out and spending money on my friends that were women if I were getting something out of a relationship. But you know pretty soon when a woman is trying to use you, pretty quickly that, okay, I paid for the last one. Okay, now I got to pay again. It's the third time she want me to pay again. You can figure out pretty quickly. It don't matter what it is. She's expecting you to do for her. So whenever that's the dynamic, no, you should not be paying for a woman. Well, they doing this and they doing that. I don't know what they got going on, but no, you should not be paying for a woman that is not doing anything for you. Oh, well, I got to do it out of the kindness of no. You should not be paying for a woman that is not doing anything for you at all. I can see if it's your sister. I can see if it's your mama. Maybe even one of your cousins if they down for the weekend or something and y'all just chilling or whatever and you want to do that. But we cousins. Hey, treat me. Take me out. Do something for me. It can't be always one-sided.
Men have always been the prize. Women marry who they can. Men marry who they want. You can get offended by the statement, but if you really sit down and you think about it and you be honest with yourself, that is a very valid statement. That does not make her not a prize, especially with these days, the way that women are raising these young girls. And it's unfortunate, but and also the numbers. I will never let any of your daughters tell my son that he is not the prize.
Why do I love this kind of man? And a lot of other women do too. I'm going to tell you why in this video. They are super confident. There's nothing more attractive on a man, in my opinion, than an air of confidence. And this guy got it. They're secure. They're self-validating. They don't need you to like them. They don't need anybody to like them. They like themselves. That's why they tend to be loners. They don't need to be the center of attention. They tend to be emotionally intelligent. They are secure, so you're more likely to have a healthier relationship with them. They have a quiet air of confidence. So they don't have to tell you that they're the boss, but you feel that strong aura like they are the boss. They are a leader. They don't have to say it on a blowhorn. You just already know. Last but not least, they're mysterious. Okay, that aloof thing gets women. I'm telling you, it does.
Why are y'all never mentioning the fact that broke men are miserable? Why is nobody talking about that? If the man in this hypothetical situation who's in a committed relationship with a woman, y'all are at the point where you're living together and you can't provide anything but a couple of $100 a month. That's it. That's all you can do. Do you think that man is happy with himself? Do you think he's a very pleasant person? You think he's a joy to be around?
Yeah, men do carry a lot of stress, and mental illness is real. And if he's down and out and he's not a joy to be around, you should seek help.
You think that that's what somebody wants to come home to? Because it's not. It's the reason why we say don't date men who don't make enough money. If he's not making as much as you are or more than you are, you don't have no business being with him, because he's going to be a miserable person to be around. He's depressed. He's embarrassed. And understandably so.
I think I saw a video by this woman saying that she felt like with everything going on, the things that women are going through, she felt like she was part of the problem. So yeah, maybe this is an old video and she realized the error of her ways.
So currently at the moment, I am dating 3 different men. And when I say all of these men bring value into my life in different ways, I really urge other women to experiment and date different men at the same time. Now, they all have different purposes. One is an amazing provider. He literally provides everything that I need. If I call him up right now and say, hey, I need this, or my kids need this man is willing to jump to come help me. But the thing is, he kind of lacks my interest in adult time. So that's where my second one comes into play. When I say he is an amazing friend, he is the most amazing friend in this world. But the thing is, he's kind of lacking in the providing area, but he provides in ways that are very satisfying to me. When I say he is amazing when it comes down to adult times, yes, I keep him in the back of my pocket. Then we have the last one, which is my older man. He's the one that likes to wine and dine me. He takes me out. We do a lot of fun things together. All he asks is for me to spend time with him. And whenever he wants to go out, I go out with him. We do a lot of shopping. I help him with groceries. Like, there are just things that he said he feels lonely and I'm just there for companionship. We literally be sitting in his garden just talking. This man has taught me so many things. And he doesn't ask for much. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And ladies, when I say keep your options open, keep them open. Until one of them men get on their knees and they ask you to marry them, baby, date them all, because every man will bring out a different side of you. And yes, I will add on another man if another man comes around and brings value to my life.
There was a woman that was talking about men not seeing the value in women anymore because of videos like this. You tell a man what you're doing, how you're doing it, when you're doing it, and you wonder why men back up off you. You wonder why men not paying you any mind, why they don't care nothing about you, because you're telling all your business. You're telling where you're going to be, how you're going to manipulate them, how you're going to mess over them, and then you wonder why they don't have no interest in you.
Guardian came out with a bunch of stats about Gen Z dating today, and one of the most shocking ones is that the one-night stand might be dead. It compares the frequency. 78% of millennials versus 23% of Gen Z. I think it's way, way, way too simple to assume that it's just because purity culture is winning. I refuse to accept that. I think it's that people are dragging out. You went out and you met someone in 2004, the chances of you finding that person and tracking them down or adding them on social media or breadcrumbing them, the like on their story that resulted in you going back and forth on stories to them coming over for a second time was very minimal, which I think means that a lot more people were seeing someone once. I think that's what this stat is missing, is how many more Gen Zs are having situationships or prolonged talking stages that never result to anything compared to what millennials were doing. It was far from the only grim statistic pointed out here though. More shocking, I would say, is that 63% of men under 30 are single, only 34% of women are. Is this the male loneliness thing I've been hearing so much about? I don't know. I don't really understand how that stat could work. Are men just saying they're single and girls are qualifying less serious things as relationships? I could not tell you, but the whole set of data has me concerned about Gen Z, and all I can tell you is do what you feel comfortable, but you're never going to find the love of your life sitting at home watching Netflix.
Hi guys, this is for 30-year-old women who are Christian and still single. I'll start by saying this. I turned 30 last year. I'm going to be 31 this fall. I have never been asked out on a date in my life, and I mean that. Never. I've never been approached by a guy. I've never had a man show interest in me. And I would never have admitted to that a couple years ago. I was ashamed and embarrassed about that. I was like, oh, it's because I'm stupid maybe, or, you know, I'm not attractive, or all these things. Like, I thought it was a deficiency in me. But I have been hearing from other women the exact same thing, especially Christian women, where it's like, you know, no one You know, I'm 27, I'm 28, I've never been asked out. And so I think there's a problem on both sides. I think that women get blamed a lot, where people will say, you know, you hoard yourself in your 20s and, you know, you cared about your career and you did all these things to keep men away from you. And I think I never did any of that stuff. And I know a lot of other women who didn't do that stuff. And they're just, men aren't asking women out, maybe. I don't know. I do put myself out there, and I know other women who put themselves out there. You know, we'll get all cute. We'll go to the tea shops. We're very open to having conversations with strangers. And, you know, we do a lot of things in hopes that someone will just walk up to us and say, hey, you know, here's my number or whatever. However that works, I don't know. And there's not a lot of men doing that. And I will make some more videos. I have stories and stuff I'd like to share. But anyways, I hope it's an encouragement to those who are like me, because I didn't see any videos like this a year ago, and that would have been really helpful. So that's why I'm putting this out there. Don't be embarrassed. Jesus loves you, and I don't know, maybe we can fix this or talk about how we can fix it. Bye.
I think even in church, you don't know. Church, yeah, you're going there for spiritual reasons, you should be, but at the end of the day, it could double as a social club, right? You go to church and it becomes a community. So, you know, at work, you could change jobs, right? Obviously you wouldn't want to, but there's so many businesses. I could go get a job across town, or I could drive to another job. Obviously you could do pretty much the same thing for churches, but, you know, you tend not to want to. You tend to say, hey, this is the right combination where, you know, my belief in my faith and people aren't that judgmental for me to walk up to a woman and her to possibly ruin all of that, right? It's not all women, but for her to possibly have a bad day and then blow you up in front of everybody, just completely embarrass you. Cost benefit analysis, risk reward.
When you say I don't chase women, my first initial thought is, well, then go find your man. You likely aren't making plans. You aren't initiating conversation. Your text messages are really dry. What are you doing? Are you wanting the woman to chase you? Because if that's the case, then you probably aren't even into women. You're probably into men. I just don't get it when men say things like this. You probably don't text first in the morning. You don't say good morning. You don't say good night. You don't check in. Like, you want to be single. That's what you should be. If you're not pursuing a woman, then you want to be a woman. Like, this is the problem with guys nowadays. They're so feminine that they want the women to do their job. No.
It don't matter what you say. Y'all are thinking that you're shaming men. Y'all are thinking that you're making men feel some type of way. You're not. I don't care nothing about what you say. You don't pay my bills. You don't mean nothing to me. I know you was already going to try to insult me anyway. So why do I care about the stupidity that's coming out of your mouth now?
Men need to stay single because majority of these women are not worth your time. These women be having all these standards telling you, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta jump through all these hoops and hurdles to get them. Knowing dang on well these are unrealistic expectations. And you know what? You could thank social media for that. Because all these women have all these thirsty dudes in their DMs, all these simps that's all on these dating apps, telling them what they want to hear, telling them all these things, and they get their big head thinking that, you know what? Well, all these dudes want me, so you know what? I am gonna raise my standards. Don't be focused on them. Just stay single, focus on yourself, build yourself up. Because I'm telling you right now, if you go out here and try to live up to these women's standards, you will lose.
One thing I think a lot of girls don't realize is when the conversation comes up about girls who are with provider men versus men who they have a more equitable share in the relationship, is the girls will make it seem like they're so sympathetic. They'll be like, oh, I feel so bad for her. Oh, you're splitting everything equitably. And oh my God, I feel so bad. He doesn't really love you. I feel so bad for her. The same way there's girls out there that view that type of dynamic like that. For me as a guy, that is how most men that feel the way that I feel, view the men in those provider relationships. Like, the only person that it sounds dope for is the girl who's getting everything covered. As a guy, of course, it sounds so easy. Like, yes, you understand it would be so much easier if men just sat there and transacted their way into a relationship. But like long term, that sounds like a miserable situation. Because I actually do, as much as I make these videos, I pretty much do cover 90% of the things that I do with my girlfriend. But the end of the day is because we make a different amount of money. And she'll actually get really upset if I continuously pay for her and insist that she pays for certain things. The same way I've discussed several times, you have to look for small behaviors that indicate a big long-term issue. And in my opinion, somebody who's so not remorseful over the fact that like they're watching you basically pay for everything. It's one thing if you just got it like that, but if you make, let's say, you know, $60,000 to even $90,000 a year and like you're paying for literally everything and she's letting you do that and she doesn't like question it, to me, you're with a selfish partner. And whether you realize it now or in 15 years, it's gonna end up being an issue. So I always thought it was so funny because I think girls think they're gonna be able to like shame men being like, oh, I can't believe she's in that kind of relationship. But a lot of men look at the men that are in those and we're like, damn, bro, like I hope you pray that you get some confidence in the future because you don't have to pay for everything to find love. But that's just my opinion. But hey, what do you think?
Most men are choosing to stay single because you ain't just as easy as hell. It's kind of like the same reason why women say, oh, I can't be married, I can't do this, I can't do that because a man's still gonna cheat. Remember when I told you women who say that be 9 times out of 10 the women that a man can cheat on their girl with, and she's paranoid, so therefore she can't see herself in a relationship because she don't want that karma to come back and hit her in her ass. It's the same exact thing with men. They want to stay single because the access to like literally is easier than it's ever been. And men know this, they see this, and I'm starting to think that they're becoming paranoid by it. They don't want to be in a relationship because they've been side niggas and they're afraid that their girl is one of those girls. What a world we live in.
I feel like when I talk about the dates that I've been on as a single 25-year-old woman, I feel like I'm going insane. I feel like these situations are insane. I feel like the men that I talk to are insane. So let's give a good example. I was talking to this guy for the past few weeks and we ended up planning a date for tonight. And 2.5 hours, I started getting ready. 2 hours ago, he says, hey, just to let you know, I'm running late. And I said, okay, how late? Are we like rescheduling or are we moving it back? To which I've heard nothing. This man has told me that he wants me. This man has told me he wants to go on a date with me. This man has told me that he wants something serious. So am I just supposed to leave that that's not actually what he wants? Cool. Okay. Another example. I matched with this guy on a dating app a few weeks ago. He tells me he lives pretty far away, like almost an hour away. And at that point, I stopped talking to him because I am not really interested in someone who lives super far away. I don't know why we matched. My radius is very, very small. Sometimes I match with people in passport mode, I don't realize, or etc. But the last message he sent was him telling me where he lives, and I just didn't respond because I think that's a pretty clear indicator that you live way too far. I don't know how we matched. So he messages me back on the dating app after me not responding for a week, and he says, well, I mean, cars exist. I can drive to you. And I was like, you know what? Fine. You know what? I will give you a chance. I'm kind. I will give you a chance. So we plan a date for Wednesday this week, and you will never guess what happens on Tuesday. I stop hearing from him. He tells me he wants to go on a date. He reaches out a week after I don't respond. And maybe this is his way, I guess, of getting back at me. But at that point, what the f is the point? Like, what the f is the point? So he texts me today and he says, hey, I'm so sorry I missed you. And to which I responded, who is this? Because I had deleted his number, but it did suggest his name in my phone because he had previously texted me. He hasn't responded yet. So clearly he understands he did something wrong. I'm not interested in reconnecting with that person because I've given you one chance at this point, which is more than I was willing to give you. And call me crazy, I'm not really interested in someone who has the opportunity to go on a date with me and they blow it, because I know that I would not do the same. And that might sound crazy, but if I'm interested in a guy, I think he's attractive, I think he's interesting to talk to, I think he's funny. Do you know what's the last thing I'm gonna do? Miss a chance to go on a date with him. Especially without telling him, without communicating that with prior knowledge, any of that. And it just like, it hit me up in the head because I don't understand like what is going on in their brains where they feel like they can do this and then everything's cool. Another example, a few months ago, I went on my only date of last year, pretty much, my only date of last year. Went on a date with this guy, we had really great chemistry, we got along really well, I felt really comfortable around him. We have a lot of the same shared interests, which is like something I find that's pretty rare. I really like One Piece, and like that may sound like a very popular anime, but I feel like I'm not usually attracted to people who watch anime. Call me crazy. But I'm really specific about the type of men I'm interested in within like, I want to make sure they have a job. I want to make sure they have hobbies. I want to make sure they're kind and not a freak. I feel like there are a lot of men who watch One Piece who like are insane, and like that is a conversation we can get to at another point. If you watch One Piece and are a part of like that little fandom, you can understand what I'm talking about. He is a normal One Piece fan. He calls Yamato he. Enough said. So we're talking and we go on this date and it goes really, really well, and we plan another date and he's really, really stressed. Thanksgiving is going on and I'm like, you know what, like let me just plan a date, like let's go to a spa together, let's like just relax, like nothing crazy. And he had a lot of stuff going on, so I didn't want to like do anything like too intense or like too much. So I planned this date for us to go to the spa, and the day before we're supposed to go, do you know what happens? My text stopped delivering, which is weird because we had been talking pretty much all day, every day, of his own free will. He told me he was really interested in me. He was telling me he wanted to go on dates with me. He was telling me he wanted something serious. But for some reason, none of that happened. So if I am the only one experiencing this, let me know, because I feel like I'm going crazy.
I never want to advocate for men ghosting people and whatever and whatnot, but I do want to say, you know, a lot of you modern women, regardless, y'all think y'all are so cute. Y'all think that y'all just have the game on lock, that you can just treat men and talk to men any kind of way. Y'all don't realize that y'all's attitude is terrible. Like, oh, I was giving him a chance. Oh, he didn't know what he had with me. Probably nothing with your attitude. Oh, that's why I wasn't going to give him a chance. Why would anybody want to be around that dude? Once again, they should have communicated, but to be around you guys on TikTok, once again, this man might come across your TikTok and say, yep, I'm glad I ghosted her. I'm glad I got a vibe. There was something that was off about her. We were talking, didn't seem like she really wanted to talk to me, to want to be around me. So I went and found somebody else. Maybe he was trying to talk to two different women at the same time, and one got back to him faster. Maybe that other one that he was talking to or texting with decided, hey, yeah, we can go on a date. Whereas you was like, I don't know about all that. I'm not 100% sure. And you just kind of hanging back. And he says, okay, I'm going to try to go with somebody that going to make up their mind. Because y'all think y'all got all the time in the world. Y'all think y'all the only ones. I know y'all like to get done up and cute and all that stuff. Y'all missing opportunities. You better speed up.